Links to previous episodes are given in the video description, so don't forget to like, subscribe and share the video. His Moon, His Prisoner. Episode 8. Chapter 36. Bella's P.O.V. I don't know why, but my phone had been continuously ringing for the last hour. I remember very well turning the alarm on my phone off and shamelessly going back to sleep after that. I felt as if my phone had rung 100 times in the last hour, but it was the 101st time that finally broke my patience. I angrily extended my hand over the side table where I kept my phone, keeping my eyes closed the whole time. Cracking just one eye open, I tried to see who was calling me over and over again. As soon as I read the name, both of my eyes popped open and I sat up in bed. I pressed both hands to my mouth so that I could not scream. It was past 8 in the morning, and due to my laziness I had not gone to my part-time job this morning. I had lost out on my money. My phone that was still ringing cut off in front of me with a blink. I checked my call history. Not only had Lily, but Victoria, David, and Leo had also called me. I do not understand why they were all calling me in this manner. My phone rang again, this time it was Victoria. At the speed of a panther, I picked up the phone. "Hello Bella, why haven't you picked up the phone?" Victoria asked worriedly. "Sorry, I had a headache last night. I fell asleep after taking a painkiller. That's why I didn't wake up in the morning and I will be late for school. Please tell Lily not to wait for me and attend class," I replied. I knew that Lily was calling me because she must be waiting for me in the canteen. I did not want her to miss the first class because of me. "What are you talking about, Bella?" "There is no school today," Victoria clarified. Her words confused me. "What do you mean that there is no school today?" I asked, yawning and closing my eyes as I lay back in bed. I knew today was not Saturday or Sunday. "I mean that there is no school today because we had to go on the trip," Victoria replied, and upon hearing her my eyes shot open and I sat up on the bed. "What?" I shouted in shock as I totally forgot about it. I smacked my forehead worriedly as I really had messed everything up. "Yes, we are all waiting for you. There is only 5 minutes left before the bus leaves. Where are you? Are you on the way?" Victoria asked. I was panicking as I looked at the clock. I remember very well that David had said that the bus would leave at 8 in the morning and it was just 5 minutes short of 8. The way to the school from here was half an hour and I knew that I would not be able to reach the school on time, and if everyone had to stay for me they would be late. I could hear the chatter of the other students in the background. They all sounded super happy. "Forgive me, but I think you guys have to go without me. I forgot all about it and everything else due to the headache. I only just got up when you called," I honestly replied. It was embarrassing that they were already there while I was still on bed. "Never mind Bella, I will talk to other teachers about this and they will agree to wait for half an hour. We will not leave you. Come quickly, we will go together," Victoria assured. "Yes, of course we are all waiting for you," I heard David's voice in the background. Probably everyone was standing around Victoria listening in. "Yes Bella, please come quickly. I need a friend to talk to as there are too many annoying people around me," Lily begged, and I heard a growl. It must have been Leo. I smiled to hear them bickering. Actually this is not the case. I will not be able to reach the school in half an hour as I have not packed my baggage nor am I ready. I have not even taken a bath. Even if I tried to get ready as soon as possible, it would take me about 1 hour to get there and I know that the other teachers will not agree to this. That would also cause problems for the students as well and I do not want to hinder their fun. So you guys go ahead without me. If we get the chance again, we will all go together in future, I advised, trying to calmly and modestly explain my point to Victoria. She was silent for a few seconds. She must have been looking at the others' faces because I also felt they had all gone silent to hear me. If this is your wish then it's okay, but it has broken everyone's heart, Victoria informed me. She sounded sad. I am really sorry Victoria, but please try to understand I do not want to be the cause of ruining your fun. Please go and enjoy it. Let's meet up after you come back in 2 days, I suggested in an apology tone. She said okay. Lily's P.O.V. What's wrong? Is she not coming? I asked Victoria who was putting her phone back in her pocket. No, she is not coming, Victoria replied, looking sad. I was also upset. I really wanted to enjoy my time with Bella. We only work even on weekends, this was going to be a good time for us to relax and have fun. It's okay guys. Now we cannot do anything. It's Luna's decision, David acknowledged, but then I noticed something. Where is Asher? I asked, looking at the place where he had been standing for the last hour looking at the path blankly as if he had been waiting for someone. Everyone was looking for him, but only one person, Leo, was watching my face with his narrowed eyes. What? I asked him. Didn't I say don't look at any other male? How many times do I have to repeat it? You do not even have any idea of how I have to control myself not to teach you a good lesson for this, Leo growled. I just rolled my eyes at him. He was again going to give me another one of his mate lessons. I chose to ignore you, I stressed, walking away from there and heading towards the bus, but he was following me closely. Why ignore me? Who did you call an annoying person back there? He asked, knowing very well that he was that annoying person. I stopped abruptly which caused him to bump into me. You are the annoying person, I replied. That was when I noticed a smile on his lips. I blinked my eyes in panic. He should feel insulted but instead he was licking his lips as his chest touched mine. I retreated immediately in panic, but he did not let me get far. Yet I am annoying, so what? Are you going to punish me? He asked with another perverted smile, looking at me. I pushed him away before I blushed. I swiftly strode towards Victoria and the safety she provided. I heard him laugh as I clenched my palms. I let him play with me again. Why was I blushing? Bella's P.O.V. I cut the call and laid down on the bed again. I really had done wrong by everyone. I should have paid attention to the time, but maybe fate also did not want me to go into the woods. Breathing sadly, I got up from the bed and grabbed my towel, then entered the bathroom. The cold water of the shower slid off my body as I closed my eyes. I wish I could also go to the forest and learn how it feels when your feet touch the soil and grass there. How it smells. I also wanted to discover what it feels like to be in the heart of nature. Slowly opening my eyes and watching the water drops carefully, out of nowhere I felt as if someone was in my house, maybe even my bedroom. I heard a sound. I immediately turned off the shower and tried to listen again, but I could not hear any noises. Perhaps it was just my own confusion as I had locked the door and no one had come to my house. I turned the shower back on. After about 10 minutes I wrapped the towel around my body and came out of the bathroom. As I entered the room, the scent of sage and citrus entered my nose, causing a scream to come out of my mouth as soon as I found Asher sitting on my bed. "What are you doing here? In my house?" I yelled at him in anger and fear. This meant that the sound that I had heard was not my imagination. Like a thief he entered my house and was lounging on my bed. Why was he roaming his hand on my blanket as if he wanted to eat it? "You have taken special care of your figure," Asher commented, looking up and down at my body that was only concealed beneath a small towel. Scared of him in this situation, I held the towel tightly as I had no idea what to do. The only positive thing was that I hadn't followed my usual daily routine and just threw the towel from my body as soon as I walked out of the bathroom. Otherwise, I would be standing in front of his eyes. Ignoring his shameless question about my body, I glared at him. "I asked you what are you doing in my house?" I snapped, repeating my question and gritting my teeth in anger. He got up from the bed and stood by the table. He was looking so tall and huge in my one-room house. Today I felt how truly small this house was. "What do you think?" Asher asked, raising a brow as he walked towards me like I was his prey. I backed up, all while holding the towel around my body, which would have been nothing for him to snatch away, leaving me. "I do not know," I replied in fear as he caged me between his arms. My back touched the wall. Now I really had nowhere to run. I noticed as his eyes traveled from my eyes to lips and then to my wet chest that was heaving up and down rapidly due to his close proximity. I bet he could hear my heartbeat. "Why don't you know, when you are the one who forced me to come here?" he muttered in a cold tone, with seductive eyes that confused me. The two together did not match up. "What? I forced you to come here? Have you lost your mind?" I asked, doing nothing to hide my irritation. "Yes, you are the one who forced me to come here with your disobedience," he responded as his voice grew even colder and he began to look angry. "What do you mean by disobedience?" I asked, perplexed. "Yesterday I said that you would go on the trip. In spite of that, you did not appear at the bus pickup in violation of what I said. Why could I not see your soul? Is that not disobedience? By doing this you have hurt my pride. You left me no other choice but to come here to check where your soul is," Asher answered. After listening to him, I made a strange face, placed my hand lightly on his chest and pushed him back slowly. "You could not see my soul there because my soul was present here with me and sleeping," I exclaimed, going to my wardrobe and started pulling my clothes out. I turned back to find his eyes were checking me out. "As far as it is a matter of hurting your pride and the matter of violating your order, I have nothing to do with that. If your purpose in coming here was over making sure that I did not hurt your self-respect or pride again, please leave my house," I told him. He was shooting daggers toward my side with his angry eyes. I did not pay attention to him and entered the bathroom with my clothes. I slammed the door behind me, leaning my body against the bathroom door. "Oh my God! What is happening to me?" I shouted in my mind. "Why am I feeling so hot again? Was it all happening because of him? Yes. He was the reason. Whenever he was close to me or looked at me with those blue eyes, then I felt like this. Now these feelings were increasing day by day, I thought as I removed the towel from my body. I once again stood under the shower to cool the heat in my body with cold water. I had to do something. I should not go near him. After about 15 minutes with great difficulty, I was able to do so. As soon as I came out of the bathroom, I saw him again. Despite how much I had insulted him, he was still shamelessly sitting on my bed waiting for me. You changed clothes in the bathroom? Asher asked. I could plainly read the disappointment on his face that I changed there. Why did he feel that I would change my clothes in front of him, so that I can give him a good view? I remember very well that I asked you to leave my house. What are you still doing in my house? I asked him, not bothering to answer his question as I took a few steps in anger. He got up from the bed and suddenly touched my hair. I saw him sniffing too, my eyes widened to see him doing this. A low growl escaped from his lips. I noticed that his eyes were shining. Maybe you will also remember that I told you that I had come here to pick you up. I have packed everything that you will need. Let's go. Asher responded as he grabbed my arm. I saw that there was a bag near my bed which he was going to take with us out of the house in his other hand. Where is he taking me? Wait. Does this mean that you went through my wardrobe and packed my clothes? I asked in panic. Yes, of course, he stated, making my eyes widen in shock. How dare you touch my clothes without my permission? I shouted at him as he opened the car door for me. Why do I feel like you are feeling shy because I saw your? He commented with an evil smirk, not bothering to even complete his words. My face turned crimson as I understood that he was implying about me. You! I screamed at him, while trying once again to go back to my home. But he just pushed me inside the car and closed the door so that I couldn't run away. I tried to open it, only to find out that he had already locked it. What the? I mumbled in frustration. As I was still trying to open it, he had already taken his seat beside me in the driver's seat and began to drive. Let me go, I sternly said to him. Sit quietly, he ordered, totally ignoring me and focusing on the road. Half an hour had passed and all my attempts had failed. I kept screaming at him, but he just paid no attention to me. I also asked him where he was taking me, as this was not the way to the trip area. We had come out of the city into the forest and this road was completely deserted. You can't kidnap me like this! I yelled in frustration. He swiftly pulled the car onto the side of the road and undid his seat belt. I saw him coming closer to me. In fear I was sliding back on the seat, but I had nowhere to go. What are you doing? Don't come close to me! I argued, putting my hand on his chest. My body was growing feverish. Do you know what? He inquired in a husky tone, not even allowing me to blink my eyes. I was so mesmerized by his handsome face. This is not kidnapper. If I decide to kidnap you, then no one will be able to find you ever, he cautioned, looking straight into my eyes as I shivered at his words. Then what will you do to me? I asked, even though I knew it was a stupid question, but what would he do to me after he kidnapped me? Do you really want to know? Asher answered a question with a question while chewing his bottom lip. He moved closer to me just like that with evil intentions. It was at that moment that I noticed there were some packets on the back seat. I was so petrified at seeing those packets that I immediately pushed him back. Taking advantage of the opportunity, I opened the car door and escaped. I was so nervous that I ran straight into the forest as there was forest surrounding the area. I could not believe that I saw condoms in his car. Did he bring me out to this deserted forest with this intention? I was checking behind me from time to time while running. I could not believe that after the incident that happened to me in Lily's house that day, that I had willingly trusted another man so easily. From that day onwards I had started believing in him, but after seeing the condom, all my faith was lost. It had been 10 minutes since I started running, I should be far enough away. Now the issue was that I had no idea where I was. Where had he brought me? As I stopped to take a breather, I felt two big hands sliding down my waist. I screamed in panic as I closed my eyes. Why are you running away from me? I heard Asher's angry tone, opening my eyes. How had I ever thought that I could run away from him? He was an alpha, the most powerful type of werewolf in the world. He could smell me even if I was miles away. I tried to push him away in fear. What do you want from me? I asked, hardly able to hold back my tears, making sure they did not flow down my cheeks. Hearing this from me, he looked deep into my eyes. I felt if he was thinking about something. If I tell you what I want from you, will you give me? He wondered, touching his chest to mine. I felt his arousal fill the air. Shaking my head in dismay and not wanting to think about what he wanted from me, tears fell from my eyes. Please let me go. I will not give you anything. Why did you bring me here? I questioned him as his fingers softly wiped my cheeks. Stop it. Didn't I say don't act like a frightened kitten in front of me? I know what you are thinking. David, Leo, and I have our own cars, but we use each other's cars all the time. David used my car 2 weeks ago and those condoms are his. He throws them anywhere he wants. Do you understand? Asher explained. His words soothed me while he touched my cheeks softly. Breath. He said as I was finally able to take a deep breath. Why did you bring me here? I asked, holding myself together and trying to believe him. Come with me. He urged, taking me even deeper into the woods. My hands were still shaking as I was looking around to this unknown place. I was again trusting him and following him as well. He was not letting go of my hand, but as we crossed a big tree I stopped to view the scene in front of me. What is this all about? I mumbled with disbelief. We were near a beautiful waterfall and there were also decorations strung up between 2 big trees. Under the tree there was a decorated table where a cake was located. I walked over to it and saw that my name was written on it. What is this all about? I wondered as I was the only one that knew today was my birthday. I never celebrated it after my mother was killed. From now on, we are going to start celebrating your birthday, Bella. Together, Asher promised, pulling me closer to him. How did you know? I inquired. For the first time I saw a real smile on his face. Nothing can be hidden from me. Asher proclaimed as tears came out of my eyes. This was the first time someone was with me on my birthday. He wiped my tears away again and leaned down as his lips touched mine. Happy birthday, Bella, he whispered between kisses. Bella's P.O.V. In between kisses, he wished me a happy birthday, and even though I could not stop him from touching me, I was enjoying it. Moving my hands lightly towards his firm chest, I closed my eyes tightly so that I could control myself. The feeling that was rising in me, the way the reactions were happening inside my body was becoming uncontrollable. "Kiss me," he demanded while slipping a breath away from my lips for only a moment. His wet lips and hot breath crushed back into mine. I clutched his shirt tightly only. He growled under his breath as I did not return his kiss. Pulling my body closer to him, he was waiting for me to kiss him back without any force. Slowly moving my lips, I kissed him back, as I didn't know why I felt a sudden change in his body, like he was going crazy as I kissed him back. He swiftly took advantage as I opened my mouth slightly and he shoved his tongue into my mouth. His hot, erotic tongue was playing with mine and was not letting me go. I moaned when I felt him nibble then suck on my lower lip. He also moaned in pleasure. He was going to touch me there, but as he did, I immediately opened my eyes and moved away from him. As I was pulling myself back, I realized how much of a huge mistake I was going to make. He was looking at me as if he had not expected such action from me, but I also saw the despair in his eyes. There was just a strange silence between us, a strange feeling that was completely new to me. I really followed his lead and kissed him back. Oh! It was so embarrassing now. I started to look here and there so that I could escape from this awkward situation. "Cut the cake," Asher said, moving towards the table, holding the knife towards me. I could not believe that he was behaving as if nothing had happened a few seconds ago. "Huh? Oh. Okay," I replied, walking quickly. I moved forward and took the knife from his hand. For a few seconds I forgot that I needed to cut the cake too. He was looking at me and I was looking at the cake. I wish I could forget things so easily in a few seconds like he did. He looked at me, diverting his attention from the cake. He raised his eyebrows, gesturing to me to cut the cake. I quickly moved my eyes away from him and focused them on cutting the cake. He must be finding my behavior weird. I do not know why I couldn't stop looking at him. I cut the cake quickly, putting the knife down on the right side of the table. There was no one here, but him, so I pulled a plate and again picked up the knife. I put a slice on it and headed towards him. He looked at the plate and then me. What? Did he not like that I touched the cake? "Okay, here you can take your piece," I said. Putting the plate back down on the table and moving away from there so that he can have his time. He picked up the plate and came closer to me, moving the cake towards my mouth. "Open your mouth," he asked. I blinked my eyes in confusion. "Open," he again asked, and I did. He fed me the big piece of cake. All I could do was look at him confused. "Don't you know you are the birthday girl and after cutting cake you should eat the cake first?" he said, wiping my mouth with his thumb. I felt butterflies in my stomach and could not help but blush. Lena was also going crazy as Asher's wolf had made a connection to her. "Let's go," Asher said, holding my hand. "Where?" I asked as we were both running. We were running deep into the heart of the forest. Everything we saw was different and beautiful. I was giggling as our speed was not our own but that of our wolves. He looked at me and I smiled. I was feeling so good as it was my first time coming into the woods. Lena wanted to come out but... Don't stop yourself, Asher commented abruptly, letting go of my hand. I watched him shift in mid-air, landing in front of me in his wolf form. I admired the white wolf before me whose eyes were staring into mine. He was asking me to come out too. He told me not to hold back. Should I really break the rules that Mom made for me? Am I allowed to? I thought, glancing at Asher again. Sorry, I cannot, I informed him, shaking my head. I do not think I should. I turned on my feet and began to walk in the opposite direction. I should not have come here. Mom had said not to come into the woods, but why did I want to know the reason? Why did I also want to break this rule that was only made for me? Yes, you are allowed, I heard Asher's voice assure me as he wrapped his hand on my waist. I became scared as his body pressed against my back. He had shifted back. It meant he was not wearing anything. Break this rule, do what you want, he whispered, not into my ear but onto the sensitive skin of my neck. I closed my eyes while he nuzzled the place where wolves mark each other. It was like he was about to mark me. I will be waiting for you, he whispered again. I looked back at him. He was not there. He had vanished. I looked down at myself. Asher's P.O.V. I shifted again, vanishing from there. I did not want her changing her clothes in front of me, or I knew I would not be able to control Ross if he saw her. I was pacing on the grass slowly, not sure if she would come or not. It had been more than 5 minutes, and she would not come. I looked at my paw that was digging into the soil. I was in my wolf form and Ross was depressed that she had not come. He wanted to see her wolf as we had never seen her. I dug my nails into the soil more in frustration when I noticed a black wolf beside me who had just arrived. She came. I didn't even want to blink my eyes as she was the most beautiful wolf I had ever seen in my life. Her soft fur that looked like it was touched by air was making her even more attractive, hot. Suddenly she removed herself from my eyes and ran into the woods. I followed her closely, not wanting to be away from her for a second as she never had been in the woods. She was running exceedingly fast as it was her dream. I came up beside her, beating her speed. She looked at me and I gestured to her, issuing a challenge. She quickly accepted it as we both took off using our full speed and strength. During the race I was not able to focus on my goal of winning even though I was the one who had challenged her. I was too busy looking at her again and again as her heart was full of happiness. This was what she had so badly wanted. Break the rules and live her life. After 4 hours I was standing leaning against my car waiting for her to join me. I had already put on new clothes that had been in the back seat of the car and now I was looking at my phone. Everyone had been calling me again and again as they were now already at the camping spot. It was already noon. I messaged them that we would be there soon. As I put my phone back in my pocket, Bella was coming towards the car. I looked at her up to down. She was wearing the same clothes as before. Her eyes were not ready to meet with mine and she hurriedly opened the car door and sat before I could do something. A low chuckle escaped from my lips to see this shy side of her. Nowadays she was feeling so shy, that was out of her normal behavior. I started the car and soon we were out of the forest and back on the highway. I brought some food for us as we did not have any lunch. She had wanted to eat something light, not a full lunch in the restaurant. She wished to join everyone as soon as possible. It would be evening soon and I had been driving for the last 3 hours. I glanced at her from time to time while driving. I could tell that she was enjoying the drive. The way she was watching out of the window deeply in thought made the normal things more beautiful. After an hour, when it was 9:30 at night, we arrived at the camping spot. Stopping the car, I peeked at her. She was looking at everything outside the car. The other students were enjoying their time with each other. The bonfire and tents had been set up by everyone. Her curious eyes were taking everything in, like she had never seen this, or she never came on a camping trip before. Did her mother not allow on school trips either? This question raised even more in my mind. I do not know why I thought that her mother had not let her do anything that she should do. She was raised like a human, not a werewolf. She needs to learn everything for survival. At the same time, what her mother did could not have been without justification. She must have some reasons for doing this. I do not know what, but the curiosity of knowing the reasons was growing inside me. I wanted to know. "Alpha," Leo called, knocking on the window. This knock pulled me out of my reverie and I got out of the car. "Bella! Finally you're here!" Lily exclaimed, jumping on her for a big hug. Victoria also hugged her and all the girls started walking ahead of us. "Hey Bella, where have you been? Don't tell me you were planning to spend your time with Alpha and we destroyed your plan? Just tell us what and where." Victoria teased, laughing loudly, and Lily was also giggling with her. I could not see Bella's reaction, but she just shook her head and did not reply to them. I hate to think that she must have rolled her eyes. How dare she? But you are not sure that she did, Ross reminded me in my head, defending her. I glared at him until he had seen her wolf. He had been on my side. But now he had changed, showing me his back, becoming her lawyer. Everyone was going back to their tents as they had already had their dinner. "Alpha," the principal called, running towards me and bowing his head, while I was still walking. "It's only 9:30 at night. Why are they going to their tents?" I asked him, looking into his eyes, but he seemed frustrated. It must be because he had been scolding some undisciplined, rule-breaker students. I don't know, Alpha, but they were all sleepy. After all, they have had so much fun today, so I think this is the reason. The principal said, but it was still odd. They were in this beautiful location and they wanted to sleep so soon? "Okay," I replied to him, walking away. As I was talking to Ross in my head, David and Leo were looking at me. We all took our seats as the girls were still busy with their chit-chat on the other side. It was dinner time and our food was on the table. We started to eat. There was pure silence as no one was around us. "Stop staring at me, David. Ask me whatever is on your mind," I demanded of him in a tired tone, as now his stare was feeling like a needle to me. "Is it true? Did you really make out with her?" David asked in disbelief, as Victoria was also saying the same thing to Bella. Leo started to eat quietly as he was very hungry. He had been waiting for me for an extended period of time, but he was still listening to what we were saying. "Do you really think I would do it?" I asked, raising my brows, and David only nodded his head. "Yet I know you swore that you would never have any kind of relationship with a lone wolf ever, not even after your death, but I just figured as she is your mate so you would change your mind." David debated. As I ate, I lifted my eyes to look at Bella. She was smiling at the girls. My lips touched the juice glass and at the same time my eyes went down to her. A few hours ago she must have changed her clothes behind a tree. She was wearing a normal top, but it was a low cut, not that deep, but it was still mouth-watering. This juice was tasteless compared to what was in front of my eyes. At that moment she noticed my gaze and did not remove her eyes like always. She was staring at mine. I noticed something unusual in her. Something was wrong with her. Alpha. The principal came running from the woods. I looked away from Bella towards him. What? I asked him quickly, sensing that something was wrong. Rouges, we are surrounded by them. The principal said as we heard the howls that were coming from afar. Leo and David quickly got up from their chairs, fully prepared. Victoria and the other pack members also came out of their tents, but none of the other human students. I was still sitting in the same place, monitoring everything. A chuckle escaped from my lips as I understood everything. What's wrong, Alpha? Leo asked as I rose from the chair. It was all planned. They have mixed something in food for the humans. It did not work on us, but it was not a mistake. It was all planned, I explained. All the pack members frowned. Lily looked terrified. It looked like she was thanking God that she did not eat anything. Victoria, Bella, and Lily, no one had eaten anything. Who would do it? Victoria asked. Everyone looked at my face. Ian. I replied, her face turned white at my words. David looked at the frightened face of Victoria and he went to her. He is back. The principal asked. Ross was on the surface as it was right. He was back and played dirty like a coward. Now what's next? Lily wondered, still sitting with Bella in the same spot looking scared. Leo was standing behind her like a shield protecting her. Leo put his hand on the side of her face trying to calm her. If they have made the humans eat sleeping pills or something in the food, it means they do not want to harm them and want to take us in the woods. Far away from them, the principal commented and Leo agreed with him. Alpha, now what are your orders for us? He inquired. My eyes were still on Bella who was not reacting. Sitting normal. My orders? Nothing. Let's just end his plan up and tear every rouge apart. I growled and they all understood. They all entered the woods. Victoria and David entering together. On the other hand, Leo took Lily with him. He was the one who could protect her best. I walked towards Bella and held her hand. Let's go, I stated and she did not say anything. We were running inside the woods and I was feeling distracted. I looked at Bella and she was looking red suddenly. I stopped to touch her face. What's wrong? Why is your body so hot? Are you feeling sick? I asked, only to receive from her at my touch. I was shocked, it felt like something had hit me from her. Why had she moaned like that? Suddenly she grabbed my other hand, placing it on her and moaned like crazy. My jaw dropped as I understood what happened to her. She was in heat. David's P.O.V. Victoria and I ventured deep into the woods in the opposite direction of the majority of the pack, following Alpha Asher's orders. It was only 5 minutes until we had received an urgent mind link from Asher. Everyone listen carefully. Asher said in a very serious tone. We both stopped running, waiting to hear what the next orders were going to be. You all know where I am, but I am facing a huge problem, which is another reason we need to handle these rogues quickly. Therefore, I don't want you guys to let any rogues come near me. If any get close, then I will handle them, but do your best to show them exactly who we are. Do anything you have to, but kill all of them. Whatever happens, don't leave a single rogue alive. Asher ordered, mind-linking all of us. We all understood that Asher must have been dealing with a very serious issue. It must have been severe for him to not only talk to us like that but to also bow out of the fight. Even though he hadn't told us what was going on, we all understood the gravity of the situation. We knew which part of the forest he was in. As soon as Asher had stopped mind-linking us, another connection came through, however this time it was from Leo. Alpha is moving towards the mountain with Luna. Surround the mountain from a healthy distance. In any case, we can't let a single rogue get close to our Alpha and Luna, Leo commanded, mind-linking us all. As soon as Leo's orders had been received, everyone began running towards the mountain, which was quite far from our current location. Victoria and I were quite close to there, so we would arrive there before any of the others. I was running at her side and I was looking at her face as well. I could tell that she had many things running through mind as soon as she heard that all this had been set up by Ian. Within 10 minutes both of us had approached the base of the mountain. This mountain was so large that we were only able to keep a small portion of it under our supervision, but no rogues would dare to enter the mountain from this place while both of us were still living. Victoria! I shouted, trying to warn her as a rogue came out of the thick bushes to the right of her. He was about to pounce on her, but before he could I quickly jumped on him, breaking his bones. I wrapped my arms tightly around his neck. Victoria ran over and snapped his neck, taking advantage of the fact that I had him in this position with all my weight on his spinal cord. As he died, 2 more rogues surged out of the bushes in front of us, and within a few minutes Victoria and I had killed both of them. I sniffed the air and there were no wolves around us for now, but when I glanced at Victoria I saw she looked bewildered. Victoria, what's the matter? Your mind has been distracted ever since you heard Ian's name, I asked. She had tears in her eyes as she looked at me. I knew that she wasn't talking to me, and even at this moment I was not sure that she would speak to me, but I couldn't see her like this. It seemed like she was going to burst into tears any second. None of this has happened all of a sudden, David. You know that all of this is happening because of me. Ian is the second son of the Alpha of my old pack. He is the future Alpha of the pack, and after a year he has only one motive to abruptly come back like this. It is because I have chosen to mate with you instead of choosing his older brother George. Ian is not here, but he is using rogues against Asher, so there is only one explanation. He must have used witches to cast a spell on them, and it is because of this we weren't able to sense that they were rogues until it was too late. This is all happening because of me, Victoria replied. Before she could finish her words she started crying. I immediately pulled her in a hug, not being able to help my relieved smile as she finally talked to me. This was progress. That is not the case at all, Victoria. Asher is also the future Alpha of our pack, and he will replace Alpha Gabriel within the next month. If you feel that this is happening due to the fact that you chose me in place of George, then I want to tell you that this is a misunderstanding on your part. Yes, that is trying to snatch you from me, but Ian is a very vile person just like the Greenwood Pack Alpha, his father. He will not return just for the case of his elder brother's lover being snatched by me. The purpose of his arrival is something else. Asher or Alpha Gabriel would never hold you responsible for this because all that is happening is probably beyond our imagination. I explained everything to her that I was feeling after watching today's incident. Beyond our imagination? What do you mean, David? She inquired. I looked away from her to see that there were more rogues running towards us at full speed. Maybe this is the beginning of a new story that is going to change everyone's lives. I gravely acknowledged as we turned and shifted into our wolves, ready to fight. Leo's P.O.V. As soon as I received the mind link from Asher, I knew immediately that the matter must have been connected to Luna. Otherwise Asher would be the first one to fight for our safety, he would be right at the front of the battle. Something must be wrong with his mate, that was the only explanation I could think of. If it was what I was thinking it is, then this was going to cause one hell of a mess between Alpha and Luna. Lily kept glancing at me, she was completely confused by the whole situation, even more so when I was listening to Asher. I knew that she understood about talking through the mind link, but it was one thing to know about it and a completely different thing to actually experience it. What's happening? Lily asked in a panic. There was no way I could tell her that something was wrong or had happened with Bella, as she would just panic and get more scared. She might even start crying, and that was the last thing I wanted her to do. Nothing has happened. Let's keep moving and remember, don't let go of my hand, I reminded her. She nodded quickly. I began running with her. She wasn't as stupid as I had thought she was. She not only understood the gravity of the circumstances, she also grasped how dangerous it was getting. Lily didn't ask a single unnecessary question when I told her that the rogues were about to attack us and we had to fight them. Her soft, small hand was firmly in my grip as she was trying her best to keep up with the pace I was setting. I had to reach the mountain as quickly as possible to handle the situation there when she abruptly stopped running. What happened? I asked her as she was looking around and then looking back. My phone has fallen there, she said, gasping as I saw that the phone was far away. Never mind, leave it there. We don't have time for all these things right now, you can buy another phone, I told her, pulling her hand back in my grip. But she shook her head, letting go of my hand to run towards it. What is wrong with this girl? She is risking her life for a phone. I asked myself in anger, gritting my teeth, as I ran beside her so that no rouges could sneak up and attack her. I saw her picking up her phone from the ground. As she did, I immediately grabbed her hand again and ran to the side where I wanted to go. After another 20 minutes of running, we reached the base of the mountain. I noticed that the other pack members were not here, which meant that they must have surrounded the mountain from the other side. Lily was breathing hard and heavy as she tried to relax her legs, as she had been running non-stop for more than 20 minutes with me. Although it was a piece of cake for me due to being a werewolf and my training, it was hard work for Lily as she was a human and not used to it. She sat down on the forest floor, almost collapsing as she closed her eyes, trying to calm her breathing down. Her whole body was covered in a sheen of sweat. I didn't say anything to her and just let her rest because we had finally reached the place we needed to be. I sniffed the air. There were no rogues near us, which was rather strange. I was talking through the mind link to David and the principal about all of this, updating them about the situation over here. The pack members were informing me and Alpha about their circumstances. They all confirmed that all at once all the howls of the wolves had vanished along with their presence, but I told them to stay alert as it could be a trap for us. After going over the conversation between all of us, I peeked down at Lily, who was still sitting on the ground, only now she was looking at something on her phone. Her breath was back to normal after having some rest. After taking a good view of the surroundings, I also sat beside her, noticing that she was staring at a woman's photo. "Who is that woman?" I asked, curious. "She is my mom," Lily replied, taking a slow breath. I was a little shocked. She did not look like her mother, not even a bit. "I look like my father," Lily revealed suddenly, as if she had been reading my mind. I gazed at her face, sensing the sadness in her heart as her eyes were on her mother's photo. "Did you go to get your phone, risking your life because of this photo?" I asked her in a normal tone. She chuckled as soon as she heard my question. "Yeah, I risked my life for a photograph of a woman who ran away, leaving me with my antisocial, alcoholic, abusive, and violent step-brother. I am crazy, am I not?" Lily answered as another chuckle that was full of pain escaped from her lips. I was quite surprised to learn about her mother. I used to think that she lived with Oliver because her parents had died, but the horrific truth was her mother had abandoned her and ran away. After being quiet for about a minute, I decided to ask the question that was bugging me. "Where is your father?" I asked. It was important for me to know this, as what would her father have done if he had known that Oliver had beaten her as often as he had? He even took away the money she had earned, so why had her father never stopped Oliver? I was 12 when I last saw my father. He used to work for a company that delivered goods from one city to another city. He used to be out most days of the week, and on the day that he left the house he said the same thing he usually did. Normally, he used to come back home every 2 to 3 days, but the last time he left 2 weeks passed and he never returned home. I used to ask my mother the reason for this, but she never told me anything, just said that I do not have a father anymore and that I should forget about him. Since that day, whenever I used to ask Mom about Dad, she would beat me. At the same time, Oliver's behavior also became more aggressive day by day. He was 8 years older than me at that time, i.e. 20 years old. He started drinking alcohol from the age of 16. I never dared to ask him about Dad, but after a year, Mom left me as well. She wrote a letter, telling me that I will always have to be with Oliver and obey him. From that day forward, I became a machine to generate money for Oliver. From the age of 13, I started doing small jobs so that I could bring him money. Now that I have become completely alone in life, I only have this picture of my mom with me. I look ahead and hope that she will return someday. Today, when this phone fell from my hand, that fear in me became even more harrowing. Thinking that if I lost this photo too, maybe in future I would forget her face too. No one can understand Bella's grief and pain more than me, as being alone is a very dangerous feeling that no one wants to feel, Lily divulged, explaining the whole story while looking at her mother's photo, and at the end with a sad smile she puts her phone back in her pocket. Today I came to know that I was wrong. She was not weak nor stupid. She was hurt just due to her circumstances and childhood incidents. I reached forward, cupping her cheeks in my hands, moving closer to her face and kissing her softly. She flinched a little at first, but she didn't push me away like she usually did. You have me, I vowed, looking into her eyes with a smile on my lips. She licked her lips as her shyness became visible on her face in the form of a blush. What? She slightly stammered. She was looking at me with her big, beautiful dark eyes. I do not know whether in the future your mother will come back or not, but I can assure you that I will never vanish from your life like your parents did. I promised as her black eyes traveled down to my lips. Why should I believe you? She asked again, tearing her eyes from my lips to move them up to my eyes. She was staring deep into my eyes. I could understand her doubts as she has had too many betrayals in her life. The most painful and unforgettable betrayals were from her parents. I am your mate. Your soulmate. Your other half. Do you really think I could betray my other half? Not until the desire to die arises in me. Just trust me. Lily, I assured, whispering the last line, moving close to her lips. I saw her closing her eyes. She was giving me approval. I immediately pulled her into a deep kiss. This was what I wanted. This was what I had always wished for, that she would accept me. This kiss was proof that she was starting to believe in me, believe in us. I felt that she was kissing me back. My wolf was overjoyed and I was so lost in this kiss. The fear that had sunk its claws deep inside my heart that she would reject me because I was not a human, but a werewolf was finally going to release me from its clutches. My mate is accepting me. Suddenly I smelled rogues around us. I immediately broke the kiss standing up from the ground. Lily also got up as she heard the growls from the group of werewolves. At least 5 wolves bounded out from behind the bushes at once. She was extremely nervous seeing them. Her eyes widened with fear because this was the first time in her life that she had seen wolves. Her heartbeat was beating so rapidly that I was beginning to wonder if I should be worried that she could have a heart attack at any moment. But she was not screaming, she was just standing behind me and holding my shirt tightly. Stay behind me and don't panic. I will be back soon after making their life hell. I filled her in, smiling handsomely at her. It made her heart flutter in this situation. The main battle had only begun when 2 wolves abruptly attacked me at the same time. I did not shift into my wolf form so that Lily would not see my real face. All these wolves were powerful, but I could handle all these fools without turning into my wolf. The new moon pack always starts training their wolves at a young age, mostly as small children so that when they are standing in front of their enemies they turn into an animalistic warrior. A scream escaped Lily's mouth when I broke the neck of one of them then scratched the other's eye out. Today she read what I meant the day when I threatened Bob in the police station, saying that I would take his eyes out. As a child, I had received training to become a beta not only from my father, but also from Alpha Gabriel. The wolves were cut down and dead in a matter of a few minutes. However, just as I turned back to see Lily I noticed that there was a rogue coming out of the bush behind her. He was about to attack her, he was a mere seconds away from her. The wolf inside me was not in control as soon as he saw that our mate was in danger and that we were about to lose her forever. We would lose her if we didn't act fast. So with a furious growl I lost control. My wolf came to the surface as I shifted. Just as the rogue was about to jump on Lily, ripping her throat out I leapt on top of him. I sunk my sharp canines deep into his throat, so deep that he couldn't even manage to scream. The only noise that he could achieve were some strangled gurgles that could only be heard in the forest clearing. I scratched his throat and ripped him apart. I threw his dead body to the side in fury, taking a deep breath. I had bathed in the blood of my enemy, but that was the moment I heard a loud sobbing coming from Lily and turned back to look at her. She had glued her body to the tree in terror, looking at me with fearful eyes. She must be afraid of blood, I thought to myself, but it was my misunderstanding. As I only took one step towards her, she sobbed like crazy, panicking. She did not want me to come any closer to her. She did not fear blood, but to my shock she was scared of me. After all, in the end my fear had come true. She rejected me. Asher's P.O.V. as Bella placed my hands on her and began moaning loudly. I understood that she was in heat because whatever happened, no matter what the situation was, she would never do such a thing. But from the moment I saw her today, it seemed as if she was not in control of herself. At the same time her entire body felt hot to the touch like fire. She was in no position to stand properly and was moaning in discomfort. She would not even let me remove my hand. The waves of her desire and heat coming off of her hit me so hard that it became impossible for me to not massage her like she wanted. However, in a moment of self-control I was able to remove my hand from her, but this caused her to groan in pain as I had not done as she wanted. Both her hands ran up my chest as she wrapped both her hands around my neck, rubbing the length of her body against mine, totally setting my body on fire. A low growl of desire escaped from my lips as she continued. "Stop it! Don't do that! Control yourself!" I groaned, trying to control her movements, but she was not going to listen to me. I felt her teeth on my chest and she was biting me. I moaned involuntarily, but her actions totally turned me on. I grabbed her body with both of my hands, letting her continue. "Everyone listen carefully," I said, mind-linked everyone. "You all know where I am, but I am facing a huge problem, which is another reason we need to handle these rogues quickly. Therefore, I don't want you guys to let any rogues come near me. If any of them get to us then I will handle them, but do your best and show them exactly who we are. Do anything you have to, but kill all of them. Whatever happens, don't leave a single rogue alive," I commanded, explaining the gravity of the situation to all of them. I closed my eyes and stopped my voice as she had just bit me really hard this time. It was like she was trying to eat me. I gazed down at her. She was making these strange noises, while rubbing her body against mine. It was so erotic that it was becoming impossible for me to move away from her, but I grabbed her small face in my big hands. "Bella, listen to me," I ordered, staring into her eyes. She was giving me her innocent look. "Rouges are coming. Did you hear me? Just bear with me for a few minutes, baby," I was close to pleading with her, but she did not answer me. Her heat me again hit so hard that all could think about was tearing her clothes from her body and her on the ground. Luckily, another thought occurred to me: if rogues were here then they would smell that Bella was in heat. It would lead them straight to us like a breadcrumb trail, and then I can't even consider allowing any other male to look at her in that condition. I felt her hand moving down my chest. I immediately halted it before it was too late. "Let's go," I said, throwing her over my shoulders as she was not in any condition to be walking. I ran at least 10 minutes non-stop while she was crying in distress. I was very distracted by her discomfort and heat, but I needed to take her to the mountain before it was too late. She was scratching my back with her nails. Her heat had come at a horrible time which irritated me like none other. I was not able to deny her want, or desire, and Ross was going crazy in my mind. After running for 5 more minutes about halfway up the mountain, I stopped as soon as I sensed Rouges around us. It seems they had already reached here before the pack members surrounded the mountain. I immediately took Bella down off my shoulder, placing her under a tree. "Bella!" I murmured, cupping her face. She was crying in pain. "It is hurting," Bella moaned in pain. "I know, but I need to handle the rogues. They are here." "You stay right here for me," I prompted her, then got up from there, throwing my clothes on the ground and shifted into my wolf. As I turned around, more than 5 wolves came in front of me, their eyes focused on Bella. Her heat had attracted all of them like moths to a flame. I stood in front of her, covering her from their eyes without wasting a second. I attacked them first as I did not have time to spare. I needed to go back to her. The first 2 wolves that came in front of me were weak. I just gripped their throats and tore them apart in one go. The other 3 tried to go near Bella, but before they could, I jumped on them, ripping the stomach open of one of them. The other 2 became alert as I stood in front of Bella again. One of them was overly daring while the other was not. I growled in anger at seeing the challenge in his eyes. It provoked me in the wrong way, and now I wasn't going to stop before pulling his eyes out of his head. He was the one who leapt for me first. I dodged him, then returned to attack the back of his head, totally burying his head under my paws and digging my canines in his skull, making him scream in agony, telling him without words how big of a mistake he had made. I looked at the last one, who was still a loser, not daring to come closer as he had just watched the death of his fellow rogues. Looking into the weak one's eyes, I pulled the eyes out of his head and pushed him in the arms of death. The weak one tried to run, but wasn't even given a chance to escape with his life after coming in front of my eyes. After ending him in a few seconds, I sniffed the air. As I felt there were not any more rogues in the immediate area, I shifted back. I swiftly put my clothes back on, then raced over to Bella. Her condition had gotten worse in the time it had taken me to dispense with the rogues. "Bella, let's go," I said, scooping her up in my arms. After walking for only 2 minutes, I saw a place like a cave. It was not exactly a cave, but better, as it does not belong to any other animal. I looked up at the sky and it was past 12. I entered and placed Bella down on the ground, but as I was about to move away, she pulled me down by my shirt. I fell down on top of her. My eyes met with her beautiful ones that were now full of desire. Tugging my head down to her lips, she kissed me. My eyes widened as she shoved her tongue into my mouth. Not only shoved, but was sucking my lips as she was demanding I kiss her back. Her heat had reached such a fever that I could not resist it any longer. Pinning her both hands to the ground beside her body, I crushed my lips against hers, taking the kiss deeper. She was moaning in pleasure and it made me let go of her hands. Her long fingers were threading through my hair. She was enticing me more and more. Suddenly I felt one of her hands making its way down again. I grabbed it up immediately. Clutching at her hair, I pulled her close to my lips. "Don't provoke me," I whispered against her lips, and she groaned out in pain. "But I need it. Do something. Please." She begged, tears were coming out the corner of her eyes. She wanted to have sex with me. She wanted to mate. No. I cannot, I said, leaving her there on the ground. I could tell she was understanding me. I stepped back from her trying to gain total control of myself. This heat was breaking me, but I cannot do it. She was a lone wolf. I should not. She does not deserve this. I thought to myself, turning away from her. I started to walk away from there with Ross going ballistic on me. He was asking me to mate and mark Bella, but I had to give him the reason. He had stopped wanting an answer, instead he still just wanted to mate with her. To help her free from the pain. The hate and anger that has been buried inside my heart, it cannot be broken down by her heart, never. As I was walking away from her, I abruptly noticed that she had stopped screaming. I turned to look at her, finding that she was crawling on the ground, while crying softly and holding the pain. I ran back to her to prevent her from getting any further. "Where are you going?" I wondered, holding in my irritation, as even though she was in heat, she was still disobeying me. Her heat hit me so hard it was almost like a physical slap as she mewled in pain, nearly succeeding in tearing her clothes. I was able to see her black bra. I was forced again to stand up and back away. "Let me go, if you do not want to, then I understand, but I will die. I need it. I will find someone else. I will beg someone," she whimpered. Her words alone were making me furious, the thought that she wanted to do it with another male. I picked her up and threw her to the ground, clasping her cheeks while staring into her eyes. I drew her into a kiss, while spreading her legs apart with my knees. "How dare you think about going to another male?" I growled, shredding her already torn clothes, ripping them off her body so that I could worship her body with my wet kisses. She arched back, bringing her chest closer to my mouth, a wordless signal that she wanted me to take care of her two hard pink unloved melons. She massaged herself there, but I removed her hands. It was my turn to caress all that smooth soft skin. She had gotten what she had wanted. She cried out in pleasure as I sucked and nibbled on her buds. Her heat had driven me insane with desire. I was losing control as the scent of her wetness filled my nose and lungs. She was dripping wet and ready to eat. All of this had turned my member into a rock-hard, hot rod. My other hand reached down to my zip as I had to take care of it before it created a problem. She was laying in front of me like a mouth-watering buffet as I used my lips and tongue to lavish sweet devotion over her beautiful body. I looked at her honey pot that was waiting for my hot rod to enter and pounce on her lips like an animal. "Bella," I whispered into her mouth, while biting her lips. She opened her eyes, gazing into mine. My hot rod was touching her honey pot, but had still not entered. She was moving closer to me. She wanted to feel it as soon as possible. "Do it," she begged as I licked the tears off her cheek before saying what I needed. "Who am I?" I asked as Ross was surfacing. "Ash." "Asher," she whispered. My fingers finally invaded her cave, making her crazy. Not only one, but two, and then three, as her desire had already made her delirious. She was rocking hip to heighten her pleasure. I increased the speed. Soon the whole cave was filled with the sound of her moans and the erotic noises that her honey pot was making due to my fingers. "More," she moaned, almost shouted in torment, soaking my fingers with her juices. I took my position between her legs, making her look at me. Who am I? I asked again as she touched my face. Asher, she replied, making my heart race inside my chest. I could not stop myself and pushed my hot, erotic rod into her wet folds. She cried out pain then pleasure at finally having what she had needed. I also felt ultimate pleasure in her, to find out that her honey pot had not been touched or broken by any other man before. It was awe-inspiring to know. Moving slowly and then faster I gave her what she wanted, but on my terms. Pulling her up a little and burying myself even deeper, I was making her look into my eyes so that there was never any doubt in her mind that I was the one inside her giving her this pleasure, no one else. Soon 4 hours had passed, I was still working on her heat, it was non-stop like crazy. I was only able to halt when she fell asleep for half an hour, but soon her heat came back and I had to take care of it. This continued for more than 12 hours, it was the same the following day. The whole time I had to pleasure her until the pain subsided. It was night again by the time her heat finally broke. Bella's P.O.V. It was 11 at night and after hours of working in the shop the number of customers had finally dwindled, now there were no more customers. As soon as the last customer had left the shop I turned the sign around, showing that the shop was closed and locked the doors. As usual it was my responsibility to close the shop up with the key still in my hand. I sat in one of the 4 chairs just looking outside the window. Now whenever I used to stare outside the window, I used to think about the same wolf that I had seen a few days ago. I hadn't seen him since that day, but I don't know why I felt as if I was in danger from him. He was trying to give me some kind of warning or message with his eyes, it was a very scary feeling. My mother always said to stay away from other werewolves, but after her death my life was completely engulfed by wolves. Bella, what happened? Don't you need to go home today? Lily asked. Coming in front of me with 2 cups of coffee in her hands, placing one mug in front of me on the counter. I want to go, but I need to sit down a little and calm my mind. Thanks for the coffee, I've been craving one so much. I replied, smiling at her before I took a sip of coffee. If there is any issue, you know that you can tell me, right? Lily prodded, placing her coffee mug on the counter. No, there is no such thing, just a strange feeling, I hedged, sitting there in deep contemplation, still gazing out the window. I had made my point. Bella, whether you tell me or not, I know you well enough to recognize that it all started from the day we all went on the trip, we were attacked by those scary wolves. It has been a week for you and I can still blatantly read the despair on your face. Since that day you have become completely silent, you have even stopped laughing. What happened that day between you and Asher on that mountain? Lily inquired. As soon as I heard Lily's question, I was terrified. I immediately picked up the coffee mug and began to drink the hot bitter fluid. I did not answer her, but she was watching my face. She had not asked me this question even once earlier this week. I don't understand why she was suddenly curious about it now. So maybe my suspicions are correct. The 2 of you came in physical contact with each other. You had sex with him. No, actually you made love with him, Lily clarified. As soon as Lily uttered the word love, I felt as if someone had stabbed me in my chest. Love? Whatever happened between Asher and me that day, was it love? That idea had not been on my mind today, not since the day it all started. I don't know how he got me off of that mountain in my condition, but when I had opened my eyes, I found myself in my house. I felt that he placed me on my bed. Then I was fully recovered, but was in no condition to walk due to the soreness between my legs. As soon as I opened my eyes, I found him in front of me. I also remembered what he did for me all day and night. We had mated. Asher, I murmured as I watched him turn away from me. I did not understand anything. I tried to sit up in bed with this attempt I was going to fall. He ran towards me to save me, but then he did not come close to me again. From observing him, I could tell that he was talking to his wolf. There was hatred and anger for himself in his eyes that he was trying to fight, but before I could say a word he walked out of the room, slamming the door behind, leaving me in tears. I felt as if I had done something wrong to him. I was the one who forced him to touch me. Perhaps he had not wanted anything to happen between us. He had always called me a dirty lone wolf, and for only saving me from the pain he crossed his limit. I was sobbing continuously. I had not slept that day or throughout the night. It was not only that day but every night since that I was not able to sleep properly. I thought that the next day when I saw him at school I would apologize to him, but I had not seen him since that day. Not only Lena, but I also yearned for his scent, citrus and sage, but he could not be found anywhere at school. I am right, you weren't you? Lily reiterated, attracting my attention. Yes, I finally divulged. I was done trying to hide anything from her because now I found all things just meaningless. I was finding everything around me meaningless now. Then why are you so sad? Did you not want to do it with him? Did he force you? Lily inquired. Her question annoyed me so much that I too was forced to think, whether I wanted to do it with him or not. We both wanted to do it with him. He didn't force us. Lena broke into my thoughts. No, he did not force me, but I don't know. I replied truthfully to Lily, trying to get up from there, but she grabbed my hand and smiled. You know the answer, Bella, you are only lying to yourself. It seems to me that. Lily hesitated, she did not finish her word, she was only looking at me. Her silence raised hundreds of questions in my heart as well as the hidden fear behind the silence. What do you think? I dared to ask her this terrifying question. To hear an answer that I was not sure I had the strength at all to listen to. You're in love. Lily declared, her words shocked me. You love him, Belle. You love Asher, Lily emphasized. Upon hearing those words, I forgot how to breathe, maybe forgot to make my heart beat as well. My eyes filled with tears, I immediately turned my eyes to Lily. I think we should walk home. Let's close the shop, I commented, getting up from my seat and going inside the storage room to get my bag. I don't know if what she said was right or wrong about Asher and me, but why were tears leaking out of my eyes after listening to her words? Lily's P.O.V. Without giving me an answer, Bella left the shop, but her silence and the tears in her eyes told me everything that she wasn't saying with words. Whatever had happened a week ago, not only had changed Bella's life but a huge change had come in my life as well. My fingers went to my lips as much as I tried, I could not forget the touch of Leo's lips for the last 7 days. As soon as Leo had killed the wolf barbarically in front of my eyes, I kept crying in fear, when suddenly the principal appeared. The principal saw Leo's wolf form then me. I got the sense that the two had talked to each other because Leo quickly jumped into the bushes, disappearing from my sight. The principal dropped me off at home using his car. I don't know what happened after I left, but the next day I went to meet Bella at her house, where I found her sobbing. I inferred that the reason for her tears was Asher and that there was definitely something going on between them, but I never asked her for specifics, thinking that one day she would open up and tell me everything. Neither Leo nor Asher had been in school when Bella and I had gone to school the next day. Victoria had gone out of the city with the National Football Championship with the girls' players, and David was also not present at the school. It had been 1 week without laying my eyes on Leo. No one was around to bother me, no one was teaching me mate lessons. It was then that I realized that I was alone again. What a feeling it was that stayed with me when he was not there. What a feeling it was that if he was not there, it brought moisture to my eyes, and even though I did not want to, I began to cry. Bella's P.O.V. The next day when I reached the shop, Lily was not there. After a while, she called me and told me that she could not sleep properly that night, so she was late in getting up this morning, so she would not be able to come in today, but she said that she would see me at school. So today I would be working without my friend in the shop. At least I wouldn't be completely alone, as there was another girl who was handling the counter while I was taking out the goods for the customers. Bella, the manager called to me in a suppressed voice. Yes, I answered, turning around to face him. I didn't know why, but as soon as a familiar fragrance entered my nose I understood what he wanted to say. The customer who has been coming here for the past week has come again. You have to deliver his order to him, like you always do, the manager stated, while smiling, then walked away. I knew that the person was standing behind me some distance away. Hey! I am back, the man remarked with a very big smile. This was the 14th time I had heard this sentence. He comes to the shop twice a day, once in the morning and again in the evening. Every time he buys the same types of foods and drinks. Today he was wearing blue jeans and white t-shirt. I had to admit he looked really handsome. Apparently he was also rich. It wasn't just the girls that work here, but all the girls who had come here to buy things were also turning to see him. No one could deny his handsomeness. The most important thing was he was a werewolf. I immediately stopped checking him out, or he could get the wrong idea from me. Hey, I replied with a soft smile. Before he could start a conversation with me, I began pulling out the items for his order, as I already knew what he was going to ask for. As usual, he followed me all the way around the store as I selected his items, as if keeping an eye on me. Give me 4 boxes of this drink today, he said. I was surprised. Do you really want 4 boxes? I asked, and he raised his eyebrows at my question. I mean, I believe that you will come back again this evening to get all this same order, so I was wondering how you can finish all this food so soon. I questioned. He laughed loudly at me. I could hear that the heartbeats of the girls present there had intensified as soon as they all heard his deep laughter. They were all going crazy over him. I heard some girl saying that she wanted to touch him. I believe that he had also heard all these things that the girls were saying, but he ignored them. Actually, I don't eat all these things alone, but I have many friends, at least 15 to 20. We all live in hostels near my school, so this stuff is not much for us at all. It is my responsibility to bring the goods, so in the morning and evening, I am here to disturb you." He replied with a chuckle. I smiled and laughed at my foolish question. Even though his body was large, I was sure he had to be an alpha, despite that he would not be able to eat that much food by himself. Suddenly he stopped laughing, seeing me smiling. "You feel trouble when I come here, right?" he asked. There were many untold feelings in his voice. It seemed as if he wanted to say something to me with his eyes. "No, it's not that. You don't bother me," I replied, smiling, and immediately turning my eyes away. I always get nervous when I look into his eyes. "Are you afraid of me?" he abruptly inquired. I felt as if he had misunderstood due to talking my eyes off of his. "No, you are thinking wrong. Why would I be afraid of you?" I quickly replied, taking out the other items. My hand was not even going to the merchandise on the top. He easily took that stuff out of my hand, smiling at me. "I am glad that you are not afraid of me, but I would expect that whenever you talk to me, you would look in my eyes and talk." He directed me. Again it was like he had many hidden meanings in his words. "Why?" I asked, finally voicing what I had wondered for the last few days. Why does he want me not to be afraid? Why does he want me to talk while looking into his eyes? It feels like familiarity. "In other words, I have fallen for you," he candidly confessed, breathing out like he had accepted it to be the truth. The item that was in my hand was going to fall on my feet. I was going to injure myself due to my shock at his sudden confession. No one had confessed their love for me ever. This handsome male out of the blue confessed his feelings for me. Not only was it heard by the manager, but also by the other customers. Everyone was astonished, including me. At the same time it was embarrassing. "What's wrong? Why is your face looking red?" he inquired. By saying this he added more embarrassment onto my previous embarrassment. "Nothing," I said quickly, walking away from there, but he just followed me and unexpectedly pulled me into a corner. "What are you doing?" I snapped, filled with irritation and panic. My body was totally eclipsed by his huge one as I swallowed my saliva hard. "You did not reply to my confession, Bella," he commented, frightening me. "How do you know my name?" I asked with as much courage as I could muster. He only chuckled. "Your name is written on your name tag," he replied pithily, indicating towards the name tag that was on my shirt. Once again I had proven myself stupid. "No need to be embarrassed, Bella. It happens to every girl when I am standing in front of her." "Well, my name is Ian," he informed me with a handsome smile. I pushed him back a few steps so that people would not misunderstand the situation. "Nice to meet you, Ian, but as for your confession, I am really sorry," I began to say. "No need to reply to me straight away," he interrupted. "I am sure you will change your mind soon." He hedged, showing how overly confident he was in his eyes, which bothered me. "Why are you so confident?" I asked. "I just am. My conscience says that what I want will happen, and if it does not, then I will make the circumstances so that it does," he warned, but the last sentence revealed how truly dangerous this male was. "Well, I would like to be your friend until you say yes to dating me," he demanded, putting his right hand forward to shake. I did not put my hand forward as I was thinking first to befriend him. We had only met 7 days ago and something about him just didn't feel right. The least you could do is offer me a hand in friendship, otherwise I will think that you are afraid that you may not fall in love with me. He persisted, his smile proved that he truly believes that I will love him. There was no way that was happening as I already had enough issues in the love department when it came to my mate. I didn't need to add this male to the mix. Okay, only friendship? I specified, shaking his hand. Yeah. He reassured me with a big smile. I smiled back at him. I knew he was saying that this was only going to be a friendship from one side, but it was also good as long as no one was an enemy. My morning shift was over 2 hours later and I left for the shop wearing my school uniform. As soon as I reached school, I met Lily on the field who was still yawning. "Are you still sleepy?" I asked her, laughing. She closed her eyes and nodded her head, agreeing that she was indeed still tired. "I think you should wash your face with cold water, otherwise you will not learn anything taught in class in this condition," I suggested. "Yes, you are probably right. Let's go to the canteen, I will wash my face in the canteen's bathroom," Lily agreed as we both entered the canteen. As usual, the canteen was full of everyone having breakfast. "Do you mind keeping my bag with you? I am sure you haven't had breakfast." "I haven't either, so whatever you eat, order it for me too, I will come back in a little bit," Lily instructed, rubbing her eyes. "Well, when you get back, everything will be at the table here. You go and quickly wash your face, freshen up. I am waiting for you," I told her. As Lily left, I took a seat in a chair. Suddenly I smelled Asher's scent. I closed my eyes, inhaling this addictive aroma of sharp citrus and smoky sage. Lena was once again feeling alive for the first time in 7 days. Slowly opening my eyes, trying to control myself, I found Asher walking towards me, followed by Leo. His eyes met with mine. He stopped in his tracks. His beautiful blue eyes bored deep into me, but now he was making his way towards me. He was thinking, "I am going to the gym. Meet me there." Asher filled in Leo, while staring at me. Asher left the canteen without looking back once, but Leo noticed both of our reactions. I looked at the food that the boy had placed on the table. I do not know why I felt it, but I was sure that he left the canteen due to my presence. "Luna." I heard Leo's voice and looked up to him. He had not followed his alpha but instead had come straight towards me. He did not forget to bow even when too many people were watching him doing it. Lily is not here," I told him as I knew that he must have smelled her scent. At the same time his eyes were on her school bag that was lying beside me. "No, actually I have come here to talk to you," Leo informed, taking a seat in front of me. "How are you doing, Luna?" he asked in a worried tone. "I am fine. Thanks," I replied, with as little information as possible and a small smile, but his eyes were telling me that he did not believe me. "Asher is also saying the same thing to me, and I know that you both are not lying to me but to yourselves. Why are you both causing pain to each other?" he inquired. I felt panic in my heart. "What do you mean? What happened to him?" I questioned. He shook his head. "I know I should not tell you this without informing the Alpha, but I do not think that I should hide it from you as you are his mate. He started to say. That day, after leaving you safe and secure at your house, he hightailed it straight back to the pack. Alpha had an idea of his arrival but learned that something was definitely wrong as he did not go to see him. Upon entering the pack, he went directly to see his mother. When Alpha Gabriel arrived there, he found me standing at a distance and joined me observing Asher. He too was just watching him from afar and did not get any closer to Asher. When Alpha asked me, I told him everything that happened to us on the trip. At the same time, he had just come to know that all this had been done by our enemy. He was furious with not only the circumstances surrounding the incident, but also seeing Asher's insanity. Asher was repeatedly apologizing to his mother and had gone absolutely insane. Leo explained, and after listening to him, I understood that I was the reason behind everything he had done. I remember very well the day we were all sitting and watching the movie. Out of the blue on that day he told me that the girl should not give up. Maybe that boy was also hurt. I lifted my eyes, studying Leo. Can you answer a question for me? I asked. If I know the answer, I will definitely, he responded, smiling. Tell me why Asher hates lone wolves so much? I inquired. As soon as he heard my question, the smile vanished from his face. Join our Facebook and WhatsApp group for more updates, link is given in description. Rest audio book will be continued in next episode.